This is the only episode in the entire series to have its title card displayed on not a white background. Here it's on the rising sun for some unknown reason.
Aang, I know you're excited, but it's been 100 years since you've been home.
That's why I'm so excited.
Okay, this has always kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Even if Aang believes right now that his people weren't killed, with 100 years passing, it would still be the case that everyone he knows is dead. This is the kind of attitude I'd expect him to have if he put off going to the air temples, so he didn't have to deal with it. But here we can see he's pretty gung-ho.
Air temple, here we come.
Sleep now. Temple later.
You get that demon mouth under control and I'll go anywhere you want. Zuko's ship being smaller than the rest of the ships is a pretty clear analog for his standing within the Fire Nation. That being that they think he sucks and they hate him.
Getting in the way of what, Prince Zuko?
Captain Zhao.
I bet you never noticed Zuko greets Zhao as captain when they first meet. Pay attention, this will be on the test.
Retired General.
The Fire Lord's brother and son are welcome guests anytime. What brings you to my harbor?
Our ship is being repaired.
That's quite a bit of damage.
Zhao in this first scene is great. He's soft-spoken and well-spoken, and he has this confidence and self-importance behind every word. Good job by Jason Isaacs, the voice actor for Zhao.
What? Did we crash or something?
Yes. Right into an Earth Kingdom ship.
An Earth Kingdom ship, you say? That would have been interesting, because we literally never see an Earth Kingdom ship or any sort of naval force in the entire show. Ever. Is there even one? Is this why Zhao starts giving Zuko the third degree? Because he knows he's lying?
I just want you to be prepared for what you might see. The Fire Nation is ruthless. They killed my mother.
Already in this episode, you can feel the tonal shift from the first two. I honestly think we only started with the sleeping bag gag because it's a kid's show, and we need some levity. We're about to get into some pretty heavy shit on episode 3.
You don't understand, Katara. The only way to get to an Airbender temple is on a flying bison. And I doubt the Fire Nation has any flying bison.
Alright, how did the Fire Nation attack 3 of the 4 air temples? If they had the grapple tanks 100 years ago, that's fine. That works. If they didn't, then dragons? They could have just mountaineered up there, but that probably wouldn't make for a good invasion. Sokka, oh my god, what happened to your eyes? How many fingers am I holding up? Sokka!
So, how is your search for the Avatar going?
I've always thought that Iroh did this on purpose. There's no real other reason to have it in the episode. I think he did it to give Zuko a split second to think about his response.
Unless you found some evidence that the Avatar is alive.
Man, Zhao is so good in this first episode. He's such a presence. It sucks he gets downgraded to fire-chucking bozo later on.
Commander Zhao, we interrogated the crew as you instructed. They confirmed Prince Zuko had the Avatar in custody.
Jean, after a short stint on Zuko's crew, was then transferred to serve under the command of Commander Zhao, and then immediately backstabbed Zuko to get brownie points with the new CO. Classic Jean.
This place used to be full of monks and lemurs and bison. Now there's just a bunch of weeds.
This has got to be crushing, but Aang finds a way to stay somewhat stoic about it. He's still holding out some level of hope, and that's admirable.
So, this airball game, how do you play?
Good man. This is the first moment of Sokka being an actual friend to Aang. One that we get to see grow as the show goes on. Feels good.
Aang 7, Sokka 0.
That had to be the only time Aang completely clobbered him off the poles, right? No way Sokka put up with getting flung like 50 feet 7 whole times. Oh, and little detail here, Aang actually holds up 7 fingers when he announces the score. There's this whole point I want to make about Fire Nation uniforms, but I'm going to save it for the book 1 finale. I think it fits better there. This is extremely subtle, but this is the first in a long line of, yeah, that makes sense kind of moments. You're not explicitly told that waterbenders can bend snow, but when they show you, you just say, yeah, that makes sense. This happens over and over and makes the magic system endlessly interesting. It seems like the only limits are someone's skill level and creativity.
But the true secret is in the gooey center.
You really get a feel where Aang gets a lot of his personality from in this Gyatso scene. Some of these lines get a lot cooler knowing that Gyatso and Roku were friends.
That's amazing.
I really don't know why they decided to do this, but in this one shot you can see Gyatso doesn't have all his teeth, which makes for a continuity error later.
The key, Sokka, is airbending.
The idea for this door is really cool, and once again makes the world feel lived in. Of course airbenders would make a door that only they could open to get into a sacred place. It's just something someone would have thought of eventually.
12-year-old boy bested you and your firebenders.
Zhao and Iroh have the same teapot. That's cute.
More tea, please.
God, I love Iroh.
Who are all these people?
I'm not sure. But it feels like I know them somehow.
Aang just having a general feeling of knowing the past avatars is really cool.
That's Avatar Roku, the avatar before me.
How do you know his name?
I'm not sure. I just know it somehow.
And knowing Roku's name? Perfect. If past lives are confirmed in this world, this scene tells us that we have even less of an understanding of this world than we thought we did. And I, for one, want answers. Okay, so this room is laid out in order, right? With Roku, the last avatar, being the last statue, the one in the center of the spiral? If that's the case, then who the hell is this? That ain't Kyoshi.
You just couldn't get any weirder.
What actually is this sound that gets their attention? Where did that come from? During the scene where they're convinced Momo is a firebender, the Fire Nation theme plays subtly in the background. I still don't think this fools many people the first time though. It's hard to think Momo is a firebender here. This shot doesn't make any sense at all. They should be coming out of the giant airbending door and into that long hallway, right? That was the only way into the sanctuary. But here they are chasing Momo into a hallway that doesn't seem to go into the right direction, as they have to turn immediately. It is possible that these two shots aren't back to back, and there was a room or two of chasing in between, but it really doesn't seem to be edited that way. Damn, what the hell, Aang? That's like highly uncalled for. Aang getting tears in his eyes from the wind is a nice touch as well. Okay, I know what you're thinking. There are these Jean Weifu imposters all over the place. I know, he's a placeholder. But believe me, there is only one. I'll point him out whenever we see him.
I have hundreds of warships under my command, and you're just a banished prince. No home, no allies. Your own father doesn't even want you.
The relaying of information in this scene is done really well. We didn't know until now that Zuko was banished, and our only questions about him were, why is he so obsessed with Aang, and what's up with the scar?
Really wanted you home. He would have let you return by now, avatar or no avatar. But in his eyes, you are a failure and a disgrace to the Fire Nation.
We get a somewhat complete answer of why Zuko is so obsessed, but it's an answer that brings up more questions. Why is this the only way he can return home? Why is he banished? It's good writing.
Prince Zuko, have you forgotten what happened last time you dueled the Master?
I will never forget.
You just see that? Oh, that's that good shit.
Firebenders? They were here?
Hold up. Gyatso is the only airbender skeleton in this room, and there are like at least 10 Fire Nation soldiers dead in here too. Gyatso obviously didn't share Aang's view that all life is sacred. Gyatso fucked these guys up. Alright, here's where that shot comes back. Why did they not give him all his teeth in this one shot? But then his skeleton has a perfect set? I feel like it's just easier to give him teeth. We know at this point that Aang can trigger this form when he's in great danger, but now we also know that it can come in a time where he's emotionally overwhelmed as well. Super cool and important for later. In this mural of Earth avatars, you can see Kyoshi on the right, even before she's introduced in the next episode. Oh yeah? You think this situation is sad? Well, here's the saddest part, and I bet you never even realized it. Aang just blew up that entire building they were in, and Gyatso's skeleton is untouched, meaning Aang protected him, even in the avatar state. Man.
This will be over quickly.
Everything about this fight is sweet. The colors, the music, the meaning, the art, everything that is besides the fight. This fight sucks. It doesn't have the dynamic framing that feature fights have, and it really, really suffers when they reuse animations. It's like, ugh, come on. This move by Zuko is really cool, but unfortunately it is followed by more repeated animations, which really steals the energy of the scene for me.
Do it!
It's capped off by this though. Here, just for a second, you forget it's a kid's show. You can believe he did it. That's awesome. It's also important, in my opinion, that Zuko wins this fight. We just saw him lose to Aang, and if we see him get beaten again by someone else, and so soon, it would definitely steal some of the threat that our main antagonist imposes. Alright, I'm gonna go on a bit of a rant for this one. This moment right here sets a tone. Look at Iroh. He comes in as the mentor to save the day, but it's not some anime teleports behind you shit. He's down in an athletic martial arts stance. It's not that he's more powerful, it's that he's more skilled. They could have had Iroh just suddenly appear there, looking stern, standing stark, straight up, catching Zhao's foot like you'd see in any other action animation. But no, they had him do this, and it sets the tone perfectly.
So this is how the great Commander Zhao acts in defeat? Disgraceful.
And he can talk the talk, too.
Did you really mean that, Uncle?
Of course. I told you ginseng tea is my favorite.
God, I love Iroh. But do you really think they meant to have him say ginseng in this episode? From here on out, it's jasmine tea this, jasmine tea that. But here he says ginseng is his favorite. It's just a little weird. Allow me to just talk about the themes for a sec here. We learn that Zuko is desperate to go back to a family that doesn't need him. His story is shot in red. We learn that Aang can never go back and wasn't there for a family that desperately needed him. His story is shot in blue. Like, this stuff is on purpose. It's awesome. Anyway, back on Avatar Watch 2021. Who the hell is that? That's not Kyoshi either. That's not even the other guy.
How is Roku supposed to help me if I can't talk to him?
Maybe you'll find a way.
There's that sound again. Does Momo just make that sound? There's also that theory that Momo was actually a reincarnation of Gyatso, and that it was even planned to be a plot point by the showrunners. But this is my show, and the only wild conspiracy theories I'll be entertaining are my own. Now, onto my 50-point conspiracy theory on how Sozin used dragons to eliminate the Earth Navy permanently, and then promptly killed all of the dragons as well. Point 1. Sozin actually... Alright, that's it for this one. I always love this episode. This episode's crazy good for how early in the series it is. So it was fun making a video about it. At this point, I'm still trying to find a healthy median of pointing stuff out that's really nitpicky. Like, I could really go into some animation stuff and be like, oh wow, this doesn't look very good, but it's like way off in the background. And I already feel like I've done too much of that, so I might lay off on that in the future. But I'm definitely commenting on all the stuff I want to, and that's not going to change. It's just, should I keep commenting on this stuff that isn't a giant deal? I probably will if I can make a joke out of it regardless, but if I can't make a joke out of it, I might just leave well enough alone. Alright, that's it I guess. See you for episode 4.